While all sewing machines look different, they all share the same fundamentals. So while I'm showing you how to thread this Janome New Home machine, it will be very similar on whatever home sewing machine you have. The basics are, you go from the thread spool, which we'll put on this thread post. Then you follow a course that will take the thread through the tensioner, through the take-up arm, and then down through the needle. So let's see how we do that on this machine. We're going to take our thread, go through this little guide, down, and this has numbers to show us what to do, so it's very convenient. Back up, and then into the groove of the take-up, and then down. This has two guides. We'll use the guide on the left here, and the thread just goes behind a little loop, and from there, we'll thread the machine. I'll feed the needle from the front to the back on this machine until the tail sticks out. I'll pull that out. It's kind of a hard angle. And then I'm going to put that under the presser foot. It's important to feel comfortable winding a bobbin, because if it intimidates you, it may prevent you from sewing. The spool is on the same thread post as before, and we'll take the end and wrap it through this guide. With a little pressure, you'll hear it click as it sets in place. I have a metal bobbin, though they also come in plastic. I'm going to run the thread through one of the holes and out through the top. With it coming out of the top, I'll place the bobbin on the winder and click it into place. Pushing it over engages the winder, and I'll pull out on the hand wheel, which will disengage the needle bar so it's not going up and down as the bobbin winds. Then I'll simply press the pedal and the bobbin will wind. After a while, when the thread is set, I'll trim off this tail so it's out of the way, and I'll continue winding until the bobbin's full. When it's full, you'll see it pop off and stop spinning. This is starting to struggle, so I'll just pop it off manually and pull off the bobbin. I can snip it, and this bobbin is ready to use. But first I'll need to make sure I push the wheel back in so that the needle bar will move up and down. Here's another machine that looks different in styling, but has the same basic structure and the same parts. To wind a bobbin on this machine is very similar. You use the thread post for the spool, run through the guide, and back to the bobbin winder, which engages and disengages in the same way. This machine, however, is slightly different in that this spins backwards to unlock the needle bar rather than pulling out. Now, once spun in either direction, the needle bar is no longer moving. To re-engage, simply tighten it and the needle bar moves again. With the spool thread sorted, we'll access the bobbin and make sure it has thread. We'll remove that, flip down this door, and remove this bobbin case by pulling this lever and pulling it out. This case is empty. Into it, we're going to put this bobbin. The thread comes off the top and to the right. We place it into the case, and the thread goes in that little notch under this plate, and you'll hear a little click. Now it's ready to install. We'll push this in with the needle all the way up, and we should hear a little click when it's in the right place. So that's where it ought to be. Now this thread is down here, and we want it to be pulled through. So we're going to take our thread and hold it, turn the hand wheel. This will pull that thread up, and now we've exposed the bobbin thread in addition to the needle thread, which we'll place behind, close this up, and we're ready to start sewing.